So this next one, I think you've touched upon it a little bit in a previous answer, but this is more towards preserving diversity, inclusion, equity, all that stuff in a lot of in the workforce. It's definitely important, especially if you need support for language access, cultural competency in healthcare and education, immigrant-specific services. It makes it harder for Korean American community-based organizations to receive funding and support for essential services when we lay out the reasons why we need the funding. If there are cuts for those very reasons. This is, for a lot of us, it seems unsustainable. So can we rely on you to protect those types of initiatives and community organizations such as our own?
Yeah, of course. That's why we're here. I really take offense when people criticize DEI. It's become a term that is, kind of a taboo term. But, like Congressman Swazi said, we all come from immigrant families. Regardless of if you just came here last week or if your family's been here for 3 generations. And I will say that even though federal funding that's temporarily hopefully been lost can't be replaced by private dollars, we also need to have conversations. And we are, I'm the chair of the Asian caucus, which Congressman Swazi is also a member of. And we're having conversations with private partners from corporations, firms to foundations. Many of them are scared to invest in DEI programs. But we want to remind them that even if you don't call it DEI because you're nervous to use those words, you still have to invest in our communities and you still have to help us expand our pipeline of talent. And I actually think of this as something that can be positive because let's face it, a lot of people, organizations who had Heritage Month programs, DEI programs, it was kind of superficial, right? Like they serve some kimbap, they have someone come in dressed in a hanbok, and it's DEI, right? But how do you really help our young people with professional development? How are you really helping our senior citizens beyond just one party a year? How are you helping the employees in your firm get that professional development and training? We can do better and we can do more, and let's use this as an opportunity.
So, Grace and I both have a lot of people that voted for President Trump and voted for us. Okay, there's a lot of people like that. They voted for President Trump and they voted for us. In my district, actually, President Trump won by 19,000 votes. And I won by 11,000 votes. So for me to win, because not everybody who votes for president votes for Congress, for me to win, at least 20,000 people who voted for Donald Trump also voted for Tom Swazi. So why did that happen? Well, it's because I work hard to make sure that I'm listening to the people that I represent. And a lot of people voted for President Trump because of their concern that the Democrats are not focused enough on the issues they care about. What do they care about? They care about the economy and affordability, immigration, taxes, crime, and healthcare. And I'm focused on those issues, and I think Grace is focused on those issues. But they're concerned that the Democratic Party is not focused enough on those issues. And so we have to make sure that we're fighting for the issues that people care about. But recognize that when you hear attacks on DEI, which is what this administration has been doing, saying how awful DEI is, that has a very negative impact on the Korean American community, as well as the Asian and South Asian community, as well as the African American and Latino community. It has a lot of impact. And so we have to balance our need to, keep our country strong, keep our economic engine going, but also make sure we include people that have not been here for multiple generations and are not part of the existing ruling class. So we have to work at that constantly to try and balance those two needs. Grace and I will always fight to make sure that this community is included and succeeds. Now, fortunately, the Korean Americans have some of the most educated, successful people in our country. If you look at the rate of education, the rate of success, it's higher than America overall. But there are still people in great need within the Korean American community that need the help of these important programs. So we're going to keep on fighting for those programs and make sure that people are represented.